The scenes you are about to see are not actual footage, but a reenactment of an event that happened almost 10 years ago. The event led to a lawsuit that found its way to the highest court possible in the United States, the Supreme Court. The setting is Juneau Douglas High School and just outside across the street. On this day, January 23, 2002, the students and staff were permitted to leave classes to watch a parade and the Olympic torch being run past the school. Faculty were present and loosely supervised at the event. Joseph Frederick and some friends were sitting across the street when they displayed a banner reading "Bong Hits for Jesus." The school principal, Morse, saw what was occurring and promptly seized the banner.
Bong hits for Jesus! Bong hits for Jesus!
This is a school function. No, it's not appropriate. Come on. Let's go right now. You know that banner was promoting drug use.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. Well, I'm sorry, I was just expressing my feelings, what I think.
Well, you know that there's no tolerance for drugs in this school, and that was promoting drugs. And because of that, I'm suspending you for 5 days.
What?
For violating the school district's anti-drug policy.
It's my freedom of speech.
On January 23, 2002, Principal Morse of Juneau Douglas High School suspended Joseph Frederick for 5 days for violating the school district's anti-drug policy, but later increased the suspension to 10 days. Frederick appealed his suspension to the superintendent, who denied. 8 days later, he then appealed to the Juneau School Board, which upheld the suspension on March 19, 2002. Frederick then filed a lawsuit looking for 3 things: declaratory relief, which is a judgment that his rights had been violated; injunctive relief, which would remove the suspension from his record; and a monetary award, which is compensatory damages, punitive damages, and attorney fees. The first court that this case went to was the U.S. District Court for the District of Alaska. They dismissed his case before Frederick even had the chance to present it to the court, saying that his rights hadn't been violated, relating to the Bethel School District number 403 versus Fraser, instead of Tinker versus Des Moines Independent School District. Morse saw the banner as violating school policy on drug use. After being denied by the first court, Frederick appealed to the Ninth Circuit, and they reversed the district court's decision. They saw that Tinker versus Des Moines Independent School District was indeed the precedent. They felt that the school could not punish or censor a non-disruptive off-campus speech just because it promotes a social message different than what the school believes. After losing in the Ninth Circuit, the school board petitioned to the Supreme Court to review their decision. And almost 5 years later, on December 1st, 2006, the Supreme Court accepted the case. They ruled in favor of Morse and the school board, reasoning that the student has right to freedom of speech, but not when it goes against school policy. Now, the 3 principles of government that I'm relating this topic to is judicial review, checks and balances, and popular sovereignty. The first one, judicial review, is the courts decide if something is constitutional or not. In this case, each court that they went to interpreted whether or not Frederick's rights had been violated. And when he got to the Supreme Court, they heard his case, but ultimately didn't find anything unconstitutional because he broke school policy. The second one, checks and balances, which is the Congress, the courts, and the president. Frederick filed a civil rights lawsuit against Morse and the school board for violating his constitutional rights to freedom of speech, which is the First Amendment. Congress enacted these rights, but when Frederick filed a lawsuit, it went to the courts for them to interpret the case to see if his rights were in fact violated. The third and final one is popular sovereignty, which is the people have power. Even though he lost the case, Joseph Frederick shows that people have power by having his case appealed and brought all the way to the Supreme Court. He didn't agree with the suspension that he had, so he demonstrated his power by filing a lawsuit and challenging the ruling.